is John Hall. John has developed Innate Careers, and he's going to explain all about that. John and I have known each other for about 14 years, something like that. Time flies. But it's geared to help the individual really understand themselves and what kind of careers to go into, and education for those that are especially younger. So, John.
Well, thank you. So let me, a little background is that why I am a huge believer in the CBI is that Eric made me take it like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And then it was before it was, I think, online or whatever. And then I was over at their house one time, and Sabrina actually explained it to me, my CBI, which I was a vice president of sales and marketing in one of my companies when I realized I didn't like sales, but I didn't know why. So what I didn't like, I'm not the transactional guy. I'm the account man. So account management, loved it. But when I had to make cold calls, I never did. I always said I would do it, and I would figure out a different way of doing it. But what I couldn't do is I couldn't manage people that were hunters too. So I had to hire somebody that would, get the stick and whip them to make their phone calls, because I just totally didn't believe in it. But I never knew why until the CBI. And so that was eye-opening. Then I actually had a company, a software company, called Ethics Point, and I had 250 people in one job, one role, and we were the whistleblowing service for companies all over the globe. If there's a whistleblowing complaint or whatever, you'd call in or come online. And so I had this call center group, and I had a group in Portland and in Charlotte, and we did this top performer profile, because the problem was we had a lot of turnover, and so we did the top performer. And when we ranked our A players, when you talk about A, B, C, when we ranked those, and then all 250 people took the CBI, those A players, both in Charlotte and Portland, were almost identical. It was wild. So we implemented it, and I was able to, I was saving a minimum of $2 million a year in turnover costs just related to that one role for the training, for the 8-week training period. Just that. It was amazing. So then we went and profiled our salespeople, which were more of an enterprise salesperson, and so I'm our client services group. And anyway, so I just love it. And then probably the biggest thing I would say, and I think is what Travis is saying, is then I'm on a sailboat with my family for spring break, and I'm reading the handbook, and I read what my wife is, who is the innovator banker. And I'm like, so we're 23 years into our marriage. I realized I shut her down 2 years into our marriage and by that, I would come home, I'd be working, fixing all this sort of stuff. I'd come home, and she would hit me up with 20 questions. And no relational, she seems to be very relational, but no relational capacity of understanding. So it was, just bam, 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 and there was no, oh, how was your day? Or no icing around it that I could. So to me, it was confrontational, and it was an interrogation, and ultimately she must not trust me. So I stopped sharing for 19 years until I'm reading this, and I'm like going, oh my God, she's not against me. She's just gathering data. So it was, and I remember she would always say, God, I love going out to dinner with other couples because I get to find out what you're up to, because I will freely tell them what I'm doing, but I don't, so now I'm, and then Sabrina, my daughter, who's, she's 30, merchant, I'm watching the same things going on between them. So we went and did a family thing, and it was really to get my wife and Courtney in the same room to understand each other. And it's just totally changed our family. It's saved, from my perspective, totally saved my marriage. I'd still be going through it, but now now I just answer the questions. Now, hair does go back and neck occasionally, so it's not all hunky-dory, but it's really amazing. So anyway, so I was doing what Travis was doing a lot of top performer profiles and executive team for a lot of older people, and knew less even. So I'd sold my business, so I was like, what am I going to do? So that's what I wanted to do. And what I found was it's very rewarding, and we still do quite a bit of it. I've got a guy that does the consulting, and he'll fly around and do these very similar to what Travis is doing. And but my passion was, instead of trying to fix where all we want to sit in the best seats for the rest of kind of sunsetting our life, I'm like going, how do we prevent kids from doing that? Because nobody ever told me what to be, what I was good at, or anything like that. And so basically the whole idea was to shift it up to focus on, originally it was college, now it's really high school. And so kind of basically so our website, we just bought the URL Innate, which was a huge thing from somebody that had owned it for 30 years for their business. But it's basically, if you want to find the ideal college, major, or career. And so it's just if you just think linearly, it is, you take an assessment, we know what careers you're innately wired for. Those careers are tied to SIP codes, which are majors, degrees, programs, and then that's all tied to a 7,800 universities database. So we could tell you the best college to go to.
Even so, the college would even probably be corresponding with your core values. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, it's just so. Well, let me just. I'm sorry. How's this? What am I? I'm not a Mac person. I'm hoping you'll actually hear this.
It's on and all the way up on there.
It is?
It depends what it is on the TV.
Can you?
It's not going yet.
Yeah.
Your minute and 30 is not moving. So
Yeah.
sound is off right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want the sound off?
No, the sound should be on.
Well, you just
it
turn
had
it
a
off.
zero
Right.
with a line through it, so that
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
means you have no
Click
sound.
on that.
No.
How about
Now
down?
it's
Oh, turn
on.
that all the way, no.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
should be on
Maybe
the way up.
downloading it.
So, let's see. Was on my. Sorry, we
Your
went on to
circle's
the
still
other.
spinning in your tab, it's not ready to go yet.
Okay.
Are
Do-
you connected to the
So
internet?
so if you just think of that in terms of how it looks like
It depends if you're not connected to the internet.
anyway, the good thing is you can go to innate.com and you can see it. But it's really, our primary markets, there's a B2C component that we go primarily to mothers of high school kids through Facebook advertising. And we've been very successful there. And then we have our B2B story, which is actually, I'm going to a trade show where we're giving away 5 Chromebooks to come buy our, this is in California, so it's the high school advisors that we give them a free platform where it's unlimited student assessments. It's a college essay writing tool, and we just integrating and coming live in September or in July with a scholarship search tool that you can search up to, it's like $4 billion worth of scholarships that are outside the
So
realm
you
of the
work
school.
with the high schools, you don't work with the students individually?
No, it's all self-administered, so we can have it,
I see.
if you wanted to use it, we can set you up on the platform. Whether you're an advisor or whatever, we can set you up on the platform so you can see all your kids that you're working with, or even adults or whatever. And then and we give all this stuff away for free, but then you can upgrade to the careers and college major. Oh,
Well, we got it on this one, so we can switch it real quick.
okay.
If you think about it.
Unless this.
Try it one more time.
Sorry. And I'll tell you right now, one of the biggest things, being a high school teacher and working with the counselors and stuff, and having all my kids for 33 years go through stuff, right now the essay writing and everything takes a lot of time for these high school students. And so if they use John's material with that, they can have, it'll help them so much more to write these essays, because it's how they're innately wired, and they can put that in there.
You can
Honey,
just watch it on your
just-
computer.
But can't you
Yeah,
switch it so it's on the big screen?
No, I think that might be the problem.
So, if you think about it, life is made up of just a handful of really big decisions. Probably the first big decision we face is choosing where to go to college. Most of us pick a college during our senior year of high school. There are over 7,800 colleges in America, so here are some questions commonly asked to help narrow down the options. Once we're in college, and it's nearing the end of our sophomore year, we'll choose a major. It's not quite as daunting as choosing a college, but many have hundreds to choose from. In fact, 70% change their major at least once, so it takes up to 2 years longer and costs a lot more. But now, it's time to graduate. At this point, we'll decide on a career. But what we really need is a job that makes enough money to pay off those student loans. Clearly, this system is broken.
Yeah.
But fixing it is pretty simple. Instead of first choosing a college, start by choosing a few careers of interest. This might seem daunting, but it's easy when we understand how we're innately wired. Our innate wiring is our interests, talents, and passions, but also our unique and unchanging attributes. When we know this, we'll know the answer to one of life's other big questions. With that answer, everything else falls into place. We can tell you which majors to choose, which colleges to consider, and even how much college debt your career match can carry.
Brilliant.
And once you've made it here, you're in the best position to begin a purposeful, fulfilling life in your career, marriage, family, and community. That's why we call this the perfect match. Find out how you're wired, to find out what you're wired to do best, to find out your perfect college and majors, to begin a purposeful, fulfilling life.
Wow.
Get started today.
That's really powerful.
So that's,
What
you
about
know,
women?
most of them are in it. So the, so it's, you know, we basically have we'll go to a when it's to the college market, to college parents or kid in college, it's about it's about finding the right major and the right career. So that's one product, and that's $25, and it will deliver that to them. If they want to then extend that, because you need those two first, you go through that first part, and you extend it to the colleges, then that's like another $25. So it's like for $50 or 20, you know, all in. So we give the platform away, so you get the free assessment, and I'll show you all that, and the college essay writing tool and the college search stuff, which is huge value
Right.
to these. A lot of private schools are signing up and stuff. We originally started with it was our platform. It's actually at Warner Pacific. I'm on one of their boards, and we do and we give it to them for free. And so they take their academically challenged kids that have to go into a program, and Rod Johansson there runs that, and he takes them through our system, which is it's a 9-step meeting through your college education of how to figure out how you're wired, what your learning styles are, what the styles are, how you're going to interact, you know, what's the best teacher to take for this subject, and then it's all about what are the careers that I'm wired for, and you start researching that and going to a career talk about this, and then you pick favorites, and then those favorites are all tied to the zip code, the majors. And that's kind of how they are using it. But
Because the students are already there.
They're
so
there.
They would like them to stay there.
Right.
And so
Right, so they don't do the
Right,
college search stuff.
Mhm.
But what it is it changes their mind that we all know this, is that if a kid actually believes that there's something that they can do, they're actually wired to do it, and it can be fulfilling, and it
Right.
changes their whole perspective on college. They actually start doing their homework. They'll start
Because they know it's
seeing
the
the
right
value,
Right.
but otherwise they have no idea.
And they're going
And
because their
schools
parents
are
said you have
terrible
to
at
go,
this, yeah.
so
And
they
one of my
just pick
partners
some.
is the head of admissions and marketing at George Fox, so I mean,
So
Yeah.
right now I'm working with a young man. He's gonna be starting his senior year in high school. His parents sent him to me, and he's working with me because he loves gaming. Loves, to the detriment of everything else, including his homework. And doesn't see where any of this stuff is gonna lead him to where he wants to go, which is just to be in gaming.
Right.
And, it sounds like if he took something like this, and he saw these are the fields in his, we already know his interest.
Yeah.
But these are the fields that encompass his interest,
Yeah.
and colleges are, it might stimulate him to start doing his homework?
Oh, yeah. So what's interesting is, so my son, who now he's actually working for one of my little companies now, but he's a computer science major, but he took all computer science majors go in there because of gaming.
Mhm.
And he wanted to actually go work for a gaming company, but it's really hard to get
That's
into.
all he wants to do is game.
Yeah, but like, so when my son matched, actually it's on the system, I think 6 of his 21 matches were all computers, software engineer, network, it was all computer science, because that's how his mind works, that's how he was related to.
So how much would it cost then? It's $25 then for him to take the,
Well, free to take the assessment, you I'll
is
just
that
show
the
it to you.
CVI?
Yeah, and we have a totally different interface for the CDI, like,
Do
you
you
would
have it
just,
broken down, like the price points, like what's free and then what's in the next, the $25 level
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
next $25?
Because I'm thinking about suggesting to his parents for him to take this.
so
Is
what,
that in here?
Yeah, and
yeah, none of
we
this-
don't have a lot of John stuff, I'll get it to you later.
Yeah, and if you're interested, I've got,
This is yours.
my sales guy who used to work for Taylor Protocol, he can run you through the whole thing and give you, he does that all the time.
My mind is going into
Yeah.
people that I know are already working with kids or they're coaches
Right.
specifically helping kids.
And they
to
can
go to
sign up
college and
and
I'm
get
like,
this all for
I've got,
free.
all of a sudden my mind
Yeah.
is like,
Well,
Yeah.
And
I
love
would
working
just
with
tell
kids.
you, this is if you talk about something that fills me up, I have my kids went to Jesuit high school, and all of our friends have asked me to work with their kids. I've had like 6 kids change their majors junior year in college, which is not the right, I mean, that adds another half year or whatever.
Sure.
But they're like going down a road that they're not gonna be happy in and stuff like that. And so, it's early intervention, and
it's
So-
better than being in your field and then deciding.
Love it.
Wow.
And see, this is where, again, you as coaches, having these tools, having a platform that John will talk about that you can set up, are gonna be way step ahead of any other coaches because they don't have the CVI training. That you can talk
How does
these
this
kids
work though?
through.
You charge $25 or free, but the CVI is $50 just
All
to
right,
take it.
what
So how
he's
you-
using is the free version of the CVI.
But that only gives you 2,
That would get you your top 2, and John will explain that.
yeah, no, I'll just show you what you get. This is our deal. This is,
This is
think
not
about
Taylor
how it works with Taylor Protocol or anything like that. So this is a little bit different. But I'll explain it to you. So it's not,
All right.
And so while you're focused on, in this conversation around, teenagers,
Yeah.
people in college, this really is anybody looking to make a career change.
You can, I
Right.
mean, they don't have to be kids. They
Right.
could be 30, 40 years
oh
old.
no,
Same
this
thing.
is,
Yeah.
well, and then we'll have the mapping to, okay, I'm empty nester, I wanna
Yes,
make a
yeah,
career
yeah.
change, I wanna do something I want, and by the way, this is what I'm wired for, and there's an adult degree program within 15 minutes of my home,
So that's kids.
so we'll connect them to that, even to that level, so this is, I'm just gonna, is that big enough for you guys? Can you
Yes.
see?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the free assessment. Now I'm an advisor. It's an advisor tab, so I have all my kids, so I can go in and sort and look for them. But like this is my godson, Colin, director, and this is a slightly different view, but it usually would have an assessment tab, a careers tab, and a college tab across. That's his interface. So he's kind of going stepping across.
Director.
What's that?
Is his real name Colin Director?
Director.
Yeah.
He's gonna be a director of something,
He's my
I'm
godson.
guessing.
Anyway, so I just use his for his
that's not his real last name.
It
It is?
That's what I
No
mean, like,
kidding.
wow.
Is that a?
He better be a leader.
Yeah.
He's actually at work with Peace Corps down in Costa Rica right now. So
Wow.
anyway, this is what we give for free. So you've got the here's your an innovator merchant. Come down here and we say, okay, here is how he's unique as an innovator, how he's unique as, and we've refined this down so it's not too much. We're not trying to psychoanalyze anything.
No.
But you can look at that and say, oh, I know exactly where he is and I can talk. I mean, I know all about the CDI, so I can sit there and ask these questions. so how do you like working in groups or whatever? And they say, oh, I hate these group things. Well, I know that because you are this and this, it's, I mean, they're like, going, you know that, that's why, it's really, then we come down, so now you have how they're unique, so this is your contribution, so he's created by nature. Then what we've added in here is, this is learning style. So Colin's learning style, this is how he learns.
I like
This
this.
is, these are, and then we've added in, these are his best learning environments, and these are his more difficult learning environments. So this is how a teacher can
I
actually
would
guide.
rather use
I
this
wanna
as
take
my
this.
core
I was
value
thinking the same
index.
Well, and I'm gonna show you, and I've got some things in here, what I do, and you tie that in with, and John, actually, didn't you use the one I gave you, the gal down for the learning styles for some of that stuff?
No,
too?
this is actually,
Just from the
this
CBI
is
stuff.
all out of
Taylor
Taylor
protocol,
protocol.
yeah.
And this
It's
is
all
the
consistent.
free assessment?
Yeah, this is
Son of a gun.
free.
I love
And then
it.
here's your challenge, this is Colin's challenges, okay? So now, let's go,
So I could just take my client and tell him, take this test.
yeah, so they could go to innate.com and just register, and you take the assessment, and then you, now, if you want to have, now, if that person, you want to see them, you have to register, and then they can share it with you. Or, if you want to be set up as an advisor, so this is like a school, Westside Christian is just, one of the schools signed up on it. So in the sign-up process, you're signed up as a high school or an independent counselor or whatever, and we set that up, and then you give us your logo, we load it in, so when, all you do is send an URL to the kid and say, take this, and they hit the URL, they come in, and it's got your logo, so they know it's you, and then they fill out the stuff, their information, they take the assessment, and then it's in your bucket. He sees it and you see it, and then you can share it, you hit the share button with their parents, so you're actually all logged in and being able to see
Wow, I love it.
as a, because the whole idea is, around this college discussion, or anything, is it's all about the kitchen table. Families sitting around the kitchen table, it's why I have an ROI calculator. I want my kid to know that they're responsible for this college, that they're gonna pay off this college, so we have this family ROI calculator that helps them understand how much college debt they, in that job, if they pick that job, how much can I pay off over 10 years of my student loans?
Well, and the thing is, nobody's gonna become a teacher then.
Well,
They
yeah,
become
or
a
you go
teacher,
to
they'll go to
a
OSU.
public school. Again, the tool will sort everything however you want, so that's a great example.
Because I
To
didn't
be
know
a
$100,000.
teacher.
So right here, I'm just gonna say, there's a video here of how you do the assessment, how you work with that. This is the college essay. Now, this is our latest, we're doing a whole collaborative tool, so it will actually be like a Word document, a Google Doc, where you'll actually be able to go in, an advisor and a parent will be able to make comments and changes as they're building the,
It's loading.
yeah, this little slow.
And this is the one where I, as a high school teacher and working with counselors, would say, this is where the kids could really use this. And they would gladly pay $50
No
for
kidding.
this,
So,
or more.
and
I mean,
this is-
really.
Kidding.
and so, but this is still all free. So and as soon as it gets here, so
how
this
do
is
you make
actually,
money on, I mean,
in the upgrades, this is a mission for me, I've,
okay, I get it.
I've funded it, it's 3 years old,
It's your
but,
baby.
and
It's a much needed.
and you talk about highly
awareness.
profitable, it's a 70% profit margin business. Which is, and I give, and over 35% of all the profits of this business go into a foundation to be given away. So it's really a funding mechanism for giving, is really what it's about.
Nice.
I love it.
So here's,
I know it.
so basically, this is kind of this is a word, you can click into this, but it's basically saying, okay, Colin's an innovator merchant, so you're gonna go through your assessment and you're gonna pick out these traits. What are the traits that are from your assessment? Read this section, plug them in here, write down my strengths. You continue to go down here. What are my learning styles and my challenges? And then you come down here and you select one of the 7 Common App prompts. Or you can do a custom prompt. And so we keep that up to date.
Then
And
this
then-
is what colleges ask you to write on.
And then this is kind of where you write it in at this point. But it's really kind of sitting here and saying, okay, as I'm doing it, these are words that I need to plug in, because it's about personalizing what you're saying is, okay, here's a question. Oh, let me talk about that story going to the lake with my family one time. So they write out that story, and then it's like, plug these words in to show you know who you are.
Your
Because
keywords.
that's
Yeah,
what
these
you're
are your
hearing.
keywords, yeah.
Yeah, what this does is a keyword search for you.
Yeah. And it will be on it when it's automated. It's going to be really, really cool. So
And they can print off of that.
yeah, they just download it, and then they can do multiple ones. But you can. So we kind of have the Common App. Yeah. So now I'm going to go. Sorry, back here, and then there's a video on how you do it all.
I was just thinking, for a lot of like city and or government jobs, you have to write these essays and stuff like that. That would, something
And you
like
could
this.
use it for that too.
Yeah,
Okay, so now we're going to go to his careers. So right now, this is showing Colin. This is a favorites list. You'll see how that works in a second, but you can match it. So these are all the careers that he's innately wired for. It's either a 3-bar, 2-bar, or 1-bar. Very simple. If it's a 1-bar, you're matched for it. You're just not as
Hi.
Now, we're not doing top performer profile. I would say top performer profile. What Travis is doing is saying, I want everybody to be in the fairway, right? This narrow fairway in the golf course. We're saying you can be in the rough, but you cannot be out in the bushes.
So those are like
So-
your 3-bar, 2-bar.
So we've unchoked it a little bit.
Yeah.
And then it's how many of these things that so we've got 145 careers and these are careers right now, they're careers that really require a degree. Maybe associate's degree or whatever.
do you also put in, so you don't put in like, if somebody really ready to hire a garbage collector, for example, or
No,
sanitation, I guess
but
they
we
call
will,
it.
because we have a new wizard being built that will say, hey, do you see yourself going to college? Well,
Because
no.
not everybody's
No.
college bound.
Okay, great.
Right.
So then we're gonna look at vocational, and we'll sort by vocational skill.
So it's getting there.
So you get down, and this says a marketing manager, but these are all the other names for them. And here's the outlook for the industry, the salary, the level of education, your match. And then you would come here and say, okay, operations manager, I'm gonna click on that to career details. So right at that moment, we just interfaced with ONET at a Department of Labor. So if they changed anything in their database
You change-
yesterday,
You didn't have to
it's new.
reinvent it.
no. So here is everything so this is, what do they do? What do they call it? And then here's this tab, the skills level. And you come down, here's all the skills, the responsibilities, and then you come back up here and you go to, okay, education levels. Sorry, I'm trying to get on that.
And that's all stuff that's part of,
And right here, here's all your degrees.
And this is still in the free.
No, this is the careers tab. When you went to this level, you just went to $25.
You would pay that in a heartbeat. For your own kids, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So you
Well,
go
no,
I'd make them pay it,
Hundreds of
but
thousands of dollars?
Well, we have it where actually we have advisors that say, I'm going to buy it from me directly, so they just automatically upgrade it, and I'm charging them as
Right.
part of my overall consulting
Right,
fee
right,
or
right.
something.
And this
So
is
we're
what-
not,
This is what you could do.
yeah.
Wow.
So
there's
but here's
retirement
the
careers in there
degrees.
as well.
And then our next version will have it'll say whatever careers you're interested in, it will show what degrees are common. So you can do it. So
Wow.
anyway, I'm gonna go back up here. So we're going back to careers, and I have videos on probably 80% of them. So if you went marketing manager, I'll just, there's a video, you can watch a video of what they do, and that's just open source. They're kind of hokey, but at least they're,
There's something there.
yeah.
So if somebody already even had a degree in something, it could also come up with other things they could do with that degree.
Yeah.
It's like you have a degree in education, here's some things you can do with that degree.
Right.
'Cause they
And
have
so
one-
you pick a favorite, and it just added it to your favorites. So I'm gonna take that off, so now you're sitting here, and the whole process, if you think about it, is just like saying, explore what these are and come up with a favorites list. And then you change your favorites list if you want. So now we're gonna go, and by the way, a video that tells you how to do it all. We're not, it's all self-administered. We're trying to do that. So then you come here, back to reports, and now we're gonna go,
Thank you for inventing this.
and now we're going off to college. Yeah, if you think that's cool.
There's more?
This is the
There's more?
There's more.
So here we are, we're going
This
out
is
to
the-
college. And these are the careers that Colin is interested in. He's actually saved a search already. But then we come down here and say, why is this? Sorry, that's weird. Oh, there it is.
Just
This
down.
wasn't built.
It's just
Okay, you know what? I want to go, let's just make this easy. I want to go to college in either Oregon or Washington.
Also, you can click more than one.
Yeah, or you don't click it and you pick regions, or all. And then you go, sorry, I'm trying to.
Just 2 fingers pushes it.
I know, but I'm trying to get down to here. So now we're gonna go off to college. So now,
Oh, wow.
here's your filter, Oregon and Washington, private, public, so,
You can filter it down lower.
yeah. So so think in terms of, okay, I'm interested in 3 careers. I do not want to go to a college that only has a major for 2 of those careers because this might be the one that I actually choose. We're not, it might be 5 and I'm only going to one that has 3. So the ideal match is there's 3 careers and there's 3 career matches. And by the way, there's 23 different degrees that you can take in that area.
That would match those 3.
So that just says that's the best match of all. So if you think of that perfect match, that's kind of how we, don't go into a cul-de-sac. So then, as you come and filter, you say, okay, I want to go to I'm going to private school. There it goes, just filters. I want this student body there. You know what? I think I want to go to that size student body. And then 2-year, 4-year, religious affiliation, cost-wise. And it comes down and it shows here's your best match because Seattle Pacific has 3, so you only have 2 here. So you can sit there and say, okay, Seattle Pacific, interesting.
That's actually Seattle University.
Seattle University. So this is actually, and here's the cost of it, the admittance rate, and by the way, here's every one of their degrees for those 3 careers. And you have then your SATs, and we're gonna do more with that. But,
So you plugged all this information into the algorithm.
Yeah.
It's coming from this college. This-
well, no, we get it from multiple sources on it. So the occupational codes and careers, that's all out of ONET, and then we're doing stuff with Career Builder, so we're gonna interface with them to actually be able to tell you what's your compensation level to the MSA you wanna, if you wanna live in Beaverton,
Oh
it
my
will tell
God.
you what the compensation level is in Beaverton at that time, because they have all that data. So we're just bringing it in and,
Do you have to, so you do constantly have to upgrade this as people, as universities add different degrees or the.
yeah, well, usually we're either doing bulks, annual type updates of certain out of databases, or it's automated. It's just if they change it, it changes in our
automatically
system.
changes.
And so this is kind of the general sense of it. So back to you had the question that said, okay, well here is, let's just do this. What does it cost? And then we have a relationship with Sally Mae, who loves us, because we can help them with private loans, sourcing people for private.
And also
loans.
maybe finding jobs where you can actually pay off your student loans.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
What a concept.
but see, if you think about it, what makes ideal sense is that we have the kids score, whether they're coming out of high school and they don't want to go to college, or whether they're coming out of college, we can actually find a job. It goes into Travis's system,
Oh, wow.
and he sources the job for that kid perfectly,
You
a
are,
perfect
so
match
you're working
into
with
that.
him.
Yeah, that's the intent. He will be one of our partners for the career. So like Sally Mae's a partner for certain things, and so then it can actually feed him into an actual career.
Oh, but are we going to that futuristic thing where people wear uniforms of different colors? No.
The East German bobsled team. We're going to be the.
But you wear the
that's
color of your
dates me.
personality type, right? Address me as I'm an orange, right?
So you look at Seattle University, and you can sit there. This is private, but if you do different in-state, out-of-state, if you're going to live off campus, on campus, it changes all the cost. And then you come in here, and we're going to revise this, but this is basically saying, hey, we have put aside $25,000 a year, and you can get, I'm going to make it large enough, $20,000 in scholarships. So what this means is, because this is a high cost place, it says if I want to be a marketing manager, I can actually, I can use 7.3% of my gross income, because we're targeting it, it's a 10-year, 10% of your income will go to pay off, the kid will pay off their student loan.
Wow.
And other loans, whatever loans they are. So you're basically, I mean, this is,
It's even got the interest rate on the loan up there.
yeah, and so you can basically say, if you want to do this, you're going to be good. But if you want to be secondary teacher, you're going to have a $28,000 gap that you can't.
Make
And
up.
this is
Family
the
can't
part what's
afford
happening
it.
with right now.
Scholarships can't afford it, and your student loans can't afford it.
And
So
it's in the newspapers and not everything else.
Right.
Nobody's paying off their student loans.
right. So then all you do is you come back and say, well, what if I wanted to go to a public school?
Uh-huh. I wish I had had this.
There we go. Well, that's not.
That's
We
not a
only
good
one
for
square.
him.
No, it's size. It's
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, public schools
There.
are be larger.
So now you can go Oregon State, Portland State. Let's go. Portland, Oregon State. Okay. There's all the different. Look at all the degrees for marketing manager, engineering. So you go through this process, and now you start plugging in. Well, if you had obviously, if parents could put in 10,000, and you could put in, you could get,
So you work and you made
3,000 and.
during the
that.
summer.
Yeah. Now look at it. You can go to all of it.
Wow.
Because
So
you
now
picked
I
a
can
different
actually-
So you
college.
just go to Oregon State and,
Yeah.
and it would be a much better investment for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you can even be a
This
teacher.
is
Yeah.
amazing.
So that's kind of, and so obviously Sally Mae, who's, we're giving away free scholarships and things like that because they're funding
I
us
just wish I had
because
had it 20 years ago.
we can help them.
Right.
The whole idea, and you go to our website, we have a whole it's, Sally Mae has the same philosophy that we have. Is first of all, you find as much free money as you can. So how much scholarship the school will give me, any grants I can do. We have a scholarship search tool, and then it's about, okay, then it's,
You have a scholarship tool too.
yeah, we're launching that, and it searches, the more data you put into it, it tells you what are the best scholarships, whether it's related to ethnicity or religious or all these different, there's,
Change your
Thousands
religion
and
before you
thousands.
just know.
but it will tell you, and then it gives you the link of where to apply for it, so you can apply for it. And that tool's free also, the search.
Wow.
So that's kind of,
So what happens if you can show me? Because I get adults, especially adults in transition, who, huh?
That's what I'm curious about too.
Yeah, and they're ready to retire, or they just had it with their job, or they're going back into the workplace after being married, and now their kids are out of the house.
Yeah.
So, but they have a degree, say, in education, but there aren't any jobs in education. So, how can this help them?
well, it's just the first level, it's just the careers. So it's they take the assessment, and then for $25 it will show them what are the careers that they want, and it will also show them what degrees that they would look to if they needed
And
additional
so if they-
training for it.
Ah,
But it's about saying, this is my realm now. And then you start looking, at ones, because it's not saying, we're not saying in this career you're gonna be great at it. What we're saying is that you are wired just like people who are engaged and fulfilled in this career. I mean, if it's an accountant versus a salesperson versus, engineer, whatever, it's like, there's a wiring for it. And stop beating yourself up to try to make it work. Because it isn't ever gonna work.
How in depth is it in the sense that, if you have, 10 people who are innovative merchants, is it gonna give them the same results and jobs and opportunities and things? Or is it looking,
It's all 10 of their scores.
say again?
All 10 of their scores. You know how Travis showed that little top performer profile?
So there's the
a high and a
4.
low range. We have them for all, so
And then
that
their
it will not,
contribution types too.
because their tertiary might be too low or whatever, or it might
what's
say
a
you're
tertiary? I'm sorry.
The third. the highest score.
Okay.
But no, it will not give, now if their scores are identical, yeah,
So it's looking at not only but.
see
like
what
their
he's
personality,
automating,
I mean,
what
it's
he's
like-
automating there, we've already automated.
Yeah, what's those things that come afterwards, the
Cognitive.
yeah, cognitive and all.
Yeah, the
it's like
contributions.
thank
Yeah,
you,
those are the other 6
But,
plus the
you know,
4.
Actually,
But you know, they're just
Core values.
additions of 2.
yeah, but the actual, if it's actually going off of the core values, is there's such a small minority chance, like literally 1 with 7 zeros after it, that you will be exactly the same because it's a matter of the combination of the words you chose. So
Right,
it
that's
is
what I'm
a
asking
lot.
is how
I don't
nuanced does it
understand.
get when you look at those variations?
Yeah.
At
This-
possible careers
What are
this
you
is
talking
going
about
to show you,
zeros?
that's what I'm
So,
wondering.
so
how
in,
nuanced
yeah,
that
and so
really is.
in basic terms, we basically do a top performer profile for a specific general job, electrical engineer. And Taylor Protocol, they create the profile for that. And then we plug it into our system, and you're either in it or out of it, and you know,
Oh, I see.
and you're
So
either
it's-
3 bar, 2 bar, 1 bar, or you're out of it.
I see, so all these jobs that are in this system that I could be appointed to have all had a top performer profile built by Taylor Protocols.
Yeah.
With a margin of error. And then you're just plugging, because even the free one, the back end gives you the numeric value of each one of those values. The client
Yes,
doesn't get it,
that's true.
but the back end, so you're looking at that numeric value in the back end.
Oh, we have all the numeric values and everything behind. In our
Even though they
database.
took the free assessment.
Right.
Yeah, so we can, you know, by upgrading them, we can tell them that they have matched to 32 careers. Would you be interested in doing? We know it already. As soon as the assessment's done, they could immediately go to the careers and it'll be all populated. It's all, and then it's picking favorites, paring it down, and then going, you know, to degrees and college.
So you give them the free one, which gives them 2 of their
They're top 2.
top 2.
Yeah, we're not
So
trying
what-
to use this as a, you know,
Right.
intense, we're just,
But you can read in the background what they're all 4 of them. All 4 of them, okay. And if they wanted to see all 4, is there a way on yours to take that, or would I'm already have that, can I plug that information in so they can look at this? Do you understand what I'm
so
saying?
I know what you're saying, and what, I mean, right now, we don't ever give the scores, because they're not interested in the scores. You're interested in the scores. They're not, they're trying to figure out what career to go to, or what
But if
college
I'm
to
working
go to.
with them and I
And
wanna
if you're
give-
working with them, so we
say
we
I've
have all
given
the
them
data.
I've given them the
Yeah.
CVI, and part of what we realized is that they're not in the right career for them.
Yeah.
That's why they're so miserable, and so they wanna switch. Can I plug in?
I think you probably have to go to John's site and
We
have
can-
him
we-
retake it.
That's a bummer.
I know, but it only takes 10 minutes,
But they had
and
there's the free
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
and all they have to do is use a different email address.
No.
You could use the same.
No,
email?
it's all in ours, we're separate from.
Okay, so
their
that you
protocol.
could use the same email then.
Yeah.
Okay, that would just be if you were gonna redo it.
And hopefully there has
Okay.
been no change between the one they took with me.
Well, you gotta remember, and John actually